Yeah. Have you ever had trouble calling yourself an artist? I know I've been there. It was like 2015 when I first started cracking open the artist, and I just read my artist prayer from that time if you want to check out that video. I was doing the exercise in the artist's way, and I made my first painting that fall too. It was a really bad painting. But, you know, I was a locked up artist for years, and even when I started making the art, I still was having trouble of, you know, saying, yes, I'm an artist. And it wasn't really only until 2020 where I really started to, you know, take it on. I remember though in 2019 for my 40th birthday, I'm dating myself now, I made 40 small works, and that was, I was terrified to, like, you know, start the progression out, start the selling, and I made my first video then. Absolutely terrified. It wasn't really until 2020 where I made my first like full collection of paintings called Lumen Naturea. Just wanted to take a minute and talk about the Lumen Naturea collection from 2020. You could really scroll down on my personal Instagram if you go over there. Since I have never deleted anything, it's natalie.didamio.art on Instagram, and you can actually see all the years. I must have made over 1,000 things from when I really reawakened to art. That would be like 2018 to now. And I haven't really deleted much. I actually just deleted a couple things now because I was looking for like the Lumen Naturea collection and what I was doing around there. And so I have this video that I'm gonna put in here for a minute, just briefly. I was thinking a lot of art making is really about defining it for ourselves. Whether we like can take the risk maybe to wipe it away, you know, and start over. Sometimes that's like life making. Like we don't always know when we're in the thick of it, like what it's really trying to tell us. And even when it's completed or nearing completion, there's still an air of mystery to that. So it's all about like hanging on to those moments and those marks, and you know, being willing to rip it away, wipe it away, paint it away, like however you make your marks. And it becomes a very personal, intimate experience. At least that's how I've seen it over the years. And like as you get closer to what you love internally, you just have a desire to express it externally. And then if it's received back, that's like the reward. So the reward could be as simple as just the exchange of like making it and then viewing it. Like I think it could be that simple, but oftentimes we get overlooked, or I think we overlook it for ourselves, not just as artists but as people, like each little moment and like what it could actually mean. Like there is an intensity and a story behind the marks and the moments. And sometimes you could be like in one conversation or have one expressive mark in a moment, and you can really be changed by that if you let yourself be changed. I don't think we allow ourselves to be changed because usually, I'll speak from my own experience, like you're too afraid. Because what if I lose my identity, or what if I lose this whole like thing that I'm working on? But you know, then you realize in that groundlessness, there's a like remembering and a coming back to life, not just in art making, but like life making. So it's like, how do you take like maybe that knowledge of what it means to like fall apart and crumble and bring that into a work? That's often what I'm interested in, just because of like my experiences back as a return back to the artist that I've been. I'm interested in those like crumbling moments and those bringing back moments, for lack of better words. Action. I remember people saying, do you have an exhibit? I'm like, no. You know, just making like 20, it ended up being like 23 works roughly. And you know, that was my first full collection, and that's only been, 5 years ago? So it hasn't really been that long in the grand scheme of things, which it's really important to realize that, even for myself. And I've had so much like internal battles to work through, maybe more than the average person. I had a lot of unexpected setbacks during the time, like we all do, and some just really threw me for a loop. Well, I was always making the art, and in 2020 in that Lumen Naturea collection, although I didn't set out to have any shows, I got into shows with this painting, Parallel Universe, which still hangs in my studio as a reminder, because I was starting to hang with some bigger artists in that show, and it was online at the time during COVID. It also got accepted into another things, the same painting. So that's an important moment, you know, in my journey where it was starting to reflect back to me, right? If you put the work into it, these things will come. But I still didn't really trust myself. But I have to say, I also had a small work, you know, accepted into a small work show that year from that collection, and sold some of the work, and then of course I painted over a lot of it because it just wasn't strong. So how do we dial in and escape all those external pressures? I don't have a degree. You don't need one. Or I don't have the this or the that or whatever, the gallery, the sales, the notoriety, whatever the external things that we attach to the actual product, you know, the things that we measure external success. But it's okay. You don't need the degree. That's just a fake degree that I made. Actually, it's kind of funny. Read it. So you don't need the degree, and you don't need the external accolades. So much times success by society is measured by these things that create a hierarchical structure of status, but it doesn't mean that you're not an artist because you don't have those things. It's a big lie, actually. It means when you like step into the arena and actually are creating like every day of your life for years, and trying to move forward, and possibly you have a loose plan or a goal, but we can't always hit that target either, because sometimes, you know, life gets in the way and you can only plan so far. So how do you just, you know, get the courage to say, I'm an artist, I'm gonna do it anyway? I remember making this small 8x8 painting that sold in the Lumen Naturea collection called Eternal Pilgrimage. And that painting, I remember, like, in that moment in the studio that I was in at the time, just having this like reflection and saying, oh my goodness, this is like so me, and it feels so wrong, but it feels so right because it was new to me. And that right in that moment, I began to trust myself a little bit deeper. And of course, that's a process and a practice all in itself, learning to trust yourself. But I knew right then I made the work for nobody, just for myself, to see if I could do it, that whole collection. And I made several collections since, and I'm working on this solo show coming up in May. And things have changed. And I've been reflecting back on, I really couldn't call myself an artist until that first, full collection. And I did it for myself. But, when I put in the work, what I noticed is things did come from it. And it's really up to you, right? It's me, you, the person that wants to do this thing, to pitch up and actually do it. So you can call yourself an artist today, and stop hiding from that title, right? You don't need that fancy degree or anyone's permission. You don't need the fanciest materials or supplies. You don't even need, any of those external things that we can attach to. You just need your hands, your ability to express and emote your life history and experience, because that's going to be different for everyone, especially if you're interested in more of a raw, intuitive, abstract, emotional type work. You can really dive deep into your life history and experiences and use everything as a creative, alchemical reaction. It's emotional for a reason. When we're tapping down into that. And nobody even needs permission to just start, right? But sometimes that fear can really be in the way, and it's hard to overcome the obstacles of our own self. I know that all too well. So many mountains I needed to climb, and still am climbing different ones now. The challenges never really go away. They just kind of change. So just get used to that too. Get used to the fact that, there'll always be some kind of obstacle on the path of art and living, and but we can always keep moving. And that's one thing I could say is I've never stopped since I started again, which I'm proud of, because I almost quit so many times. so I know what that's like too, to have that sinking feeling, and to feel like nothing's going anywhere, and to be met with a lot of obstacles. But the thing is if you keep showing up to that moment and you keep daring yourself, daring yourself to open up to more of the sides and to really just express and create the work, the work will start mirroring back to you, and people will start mirroring, and the sales and the shows, they will come, and the awards. Once you kind of just detach from it all. That's the strangest thing. And fully step into it and owning it. Of course, rejection will still happen, because that's just part of the process. So I encourage you to call yourself an artist today. And if you've been locked up and hiding away, encourage you to share and start the journey out. Maybe you have a goal in mind. Maybe it's just a real loose idea. Maybe you just want to create for creation's sake, which is so powerful and healing. But you're still an artist, right? And that title is for everyone. And you could do it your way, and it will be your way when you decide that this is what you're gonna create, and you're going to say, yes, I'm an artist. So I know rejection can be hard if you ever dealt with that or are a little hesitant, I have this video about rejection. I'll put it there for you. You know, rejection happens. It's just part of the process in art and living, but we can always return again.